Hello everybody, it is I, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a monster review. Continuing our theme with undead turnable creatures, today we're going to talk to you about the Will-O-Wisp. The Will-O-Wisp, as presented in the original monster manual for use with basic Dungeons & Dragons and advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or what today is commonly known as 1E. So the Will-O-Wisp. It doesn't sound like much, but in the original game, these were actually pretty nasty things to run into. The Will-O-Wisp is trying to lure somebody away so that they will perish in a way where, as they're perishing, the Will-O-Wisp will feed upon them as they perish. It's not a high percentage win for the Will-O-Wisp, but if you have to tangle with it, boy, you sure don't want to. These are a 9 hit dice creature. Yep, 9 hit dice. And here's the corker. -8 armor class. Can you believe that? Wow. Just wow. Really hard to hit. But normal weapons can indeed hit it, if you can get to it. This is a really, really tough creature. If you use it and are careful about using all aspects of it as it's described in the book, you really don't want to go up against one of these. Turning is really your best option. It really is. While they don't have magic resistance, they are immune to most spells. Some of the exceptions are things like, Magic Missile and Maze, and I think there's one other, but there's only 3 spells that can affect this. And they're all not what you would typically think would work in this situation. This is one of the times when fire is not your best friend. Neither is cold. Doesn't really matter. These 3 spells are the ones that will affect it. That's it. Now, at the same time, if you're trying to hit it, well, they're really difficult to hit. They do damage if they attack you, but really what they're trying to do is to bring you into a spot where you can't escape. And as you slowly waste away and die, they feed upon your spirit and your essence as it's leaving its body. Now you say, well, okay, but it's undead. Where is it on the chart? Well, yeah, you're right. It's not on the chart. And guess what? If it's undead and it's not on the chart, yep, a special. So you are only able to turn it at the greatest level of difficulty. It's as difficult to turn a Will-O-Wisp as it is to say a barbed devil. Maybe that helps you better understand how competent the Will-O-Wisp is as a creature going up against your party. They're really nasty. Of course, they're trying to lure you away, and they have a chance, and you get a save as to whether or not they're successful in getting you to follow it. One of the big problems with them is that they move faster than a human. And because they're just a bouncing orb of light, they're not exactly impeded by the local topography. They're able to get around very easily. They can flit, they can turn out their light and move somewhere for a number of rounds before they flash back in. They're very, very good at convincing you that, maybe that's a lantern, or, that must be a group of whatever camping nearby. But they're very evil, and they will definitely go out to try and kill you. Now, if they are forced to actually defend themselves with you, they get 1 attack, but it does 2 to 16 points of damage. That's not their preferred way of operating, but if worse comes to worse, they can kill you and feed on your essence that way. And with a -8 armor class, Wow, that still blows me away. With a -8 armor class, they're pretty much impervious to what most normal parties could do until you start getting into some pretty good levels. Now, this is an interesting one, once again, because you can only turn it at the special level. They are very rare. They're only chaotic evil rather than lawful evil, and they're very intelligent. If you run into one of these and you're able to identify what it is, you want to stay away. You don't want to get involved with one of these. You want to try and get past it as fast as you can. And of course, if it does attack you, that 2 to 16 points of damage is actually electrical damage, like being struck by a lightning bolt. Uh, Generally, that doesn't really make all that much difference, but it can. Now, the Will-O-Wisp is one that you definitely want to stay away from. Like I said, it's very intelligent. It only shows up in very small groups, generally only one, but there's a chance of it being 1 to 3. Oh my goodness, that would really be unfortunate. Get away. Um, Talking to dungeon masters about it, I got some very clear opinions on this one because everybody found that when they first put it in, they didn't think it would be that tough. But as the play evolved and the adventurers went through it and so forth, they found out that, oh yeah, it's maybe a little too tough. I got a very solid 8 out of this. And talking to players, uh, they sure didn't like them. If they were stuck in conflict with one of these, none of them were able to kill the Will-O-Wisp or totally make it go away. The best they were able to do in one case was turn it. That's a very lucky roll, unless you have very high level clerics. And the other one was they turned and ran away. So uh, I can definitely understand that. From a player standpoint, they were very solid in saying that this was an 8 or a 9. So the Will-O-Wisp may sound very innocuous and not a difficult opponent, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So that, my friends, is the Will-O-Wisp. We hope you found this informational, interesting, entertaining, all that kind of good stuff. If you did, please be so kind as to leave us a like. Consider subscribing. Share with your friends. Leave us a comment. But most of all, come back and see us again real soon. We thank you kindly for your support. And remember, dwarves rock!